Hey folks, I want to talk a little bit about slide divers. And typically when we're talking about divers or directional divers in particular, we often refer to dipsy divers or deeper divers, which are more permanently placed on your line. So your main line goes to the front of the diver, and then a leader that goes out to the back of the uh, behind the diver and out to the lure. And they're set distances. They're a great scenario. Certainly, one that you can confidently say that your setup will be identical each and every time that you deploy it. But there is also another option, and one is called the slide diver. And as the name suggests, it slides on your main line. Okay, so this is, for an example, 50-pound braided line, and it is then with a barrel swivel with your leader, and your leader could have as much as, let's say, 8 feet to your business end, which would be a snap swivel to hook on a spoon, for an example, or flasher fly, or whatever it might be that you want to run behind your slide diver. The slide diver and the line itself runs all the way through from the front of the diver, which is with this little enclosed eyelet with the arm. And on the arm, and this is one of the ways that I hook up my particular diver, is you run the line all the way through a hole that's at the very front of the diver here. And it goes all the way through the whole diver, all the way out to the back. Okay, and the line will be free sliding in a straight line all the way through. Now, in order for me to allow that front arm to really hold on to a braided line, what I do is I end up using surgical tubing, and this actually comes with the kit when you buy your slide diver, is this little piece of surgical tubing, and I place it in between where that where the first hole is and the main body of the diver hole is, and I line it up. And then I also put a little surgical tubing on the arm itself. And the idea there is, when this is all lined up, is that now the two surgical tubings will be held together, and you can feel the tension. All right, it's really pushing down on that braided line and able to hold it in place, and then clip it in place. Now, this one's a light bite diver, and the light bite slide diver has this additional arm here at the back. So you want to have this all the way up in order for you to then push down the front um, trip mechanism of the diver in place, and now it's held in place. So the tail end now will then be looped over the light bite. And the idea of the light bite is that when a fish hits, it pulls this longer arm with a greater amount of force, being able to pop this front diver off. And now the diver slides all the way down to the lure, or down to your barrel swivel, as a matter of fact. So the idea here is now you can run this line all the way back as far as you'd like, and giving a greater distance between the diver and your lure all the way back behind the boat. Some days, let's say for an example, we might run 15 feet behind the diver. Some days it's 25, even 100 feet back. And it just gives you that opportunity of having a larger distance between you and the diver. Very, very handy when in situations of, let's say, in shallow water, and you want to be able to get lures out away from the boat, but yet still use your diver, especially your larger size divers, like the slide diver, and be able to have them trace beside the boat. Um, Gives some great stealth techniques, and it's really good, let's say, for stager salmon. When you're in shallow, you want to use those larger divers and get the bait down to the depth that you want in a quick hurry with the larger diver, but still have a stretch back behind the boat. So the essence of a slide diver is really good. Another very good situation is spring fishing in the spring for salmon when we're on the South Shore. We'll stretch out body baits behind the boat, and same thing, slide divers on each corner of the boat, and gets you down to the depth that you want to target, and yet you still have a good length of line out behind the boat. One of the things that I often get heard is, well, okay, so how do I know how much line and to be able to repeat the same distances? One of the things that I would suggest is when you're first setting out your first set, you're gonna have that leader slide out as far as you want, let's say 25 or 100 feet back, and then you clip this diver in, okay, and then it's now ready to be deployed, and then you wind your line all the way up to the diver here, and then zero your counter at that point. And so now your reel is now saying 0 while you place the diver in the water, and then you set out the amount of line that you want to deploy your diver to the whatever specific depths that you want. And that gives you that repeatability. So now when you retrieve your lure all the way back again, it'll give you some indication of, let's say, 950 feet on your counter, which means that you had a 50-foot leader before you clipped it in and then started to deploy the diver, and then you can set it back to exactly the same number that you caught the fish on. So that's how you do that repeatability with a slide diver, using your line counter, zeroing it after you've already clipped it in and it's in place with the leader already out. Slide divers do catch us a lot of fish. They come in 2 different sizes. They also have rings that you can add to the diver to increase its planing surface and change its depth capabilities. But in general, that's your slide diver setup. It catches you a lot of fish, and I hope that all of these diver tips will give you a heads up for this coming season.